Hello friends, enemies, and those undecided. I'm going to walk you through a blueprint setup for a enemy spawner system that doesn't take up a whole lot of memory size on the size map. I've got 3 of them already here. Let's see, we're going to go... I've got my enemy blueprint. I'm going to use the sphere collision in place of the event any damage. So this would be where your damage logic would be with the health and subtracting and all that stuff. I'm going to substitute for that. We're going to do a custom event for the kill with a basic actor for the respawn reference, followed by the destroy actor. I'm going to hook all this up here in a minute, not right now. Just showing you guys what I've got going on. And then I made children blueprints of the enemy, Arnold, Butch, and Sarah. And then I've got the interface right here that you're going to have to create under blueprint interface. I've got a respawn trigger with no input or output, just a basic function. Respawn reference with an input of just the basic actor, and then I attach that to the class settings of the main parent enemy under here for respawn actor, and then that's where I've got the respawn reference event here to set that, and then I create another actor for the respawn fab. And here's where a lot of this is going to take place. Alright, in here in the respawn fab, we're going to go to class settings and add the respawn actor blueprint to that. And we are going to do a custom event for the initial spawn event. We're going to save the async load class asset for later. We're going to cast that off the completed node to a character class, it's not a specific character class, just arbitrary, empty, void of all emotion. We're going to spawn actor. We're going to split the transform and do the get actor location of the respawn fab to the spawn transform location. Off this return value, we are going to respawn reference message, and then we're going to get a reference to self, which will now save a reference for this respawn fab here into the enemy. Now we're going to do the cool thing. We're going to go down here. We're going to go to blueprint class, primary data asset, select PDA enemy type. Open that bad boy up. We only need one variable here, enemy type. We're going to do what was the name of our main enemy? We're going to do a soft class reference. Click on that. Respawn fab. Alright, and then from this we're going to do a miscellaneous data asset, and then that enemy type should show up under here. Select PD Butch. We're going to have our drop down of enemy type will now be Butch, and then we can duplicate this. Arnold, duplicate it again. Sarah, and then we're just going to change our drop downs in here. Make sure you remember to do that, otherwise you'll be respawning in the other character. Okay, now back in our respawn fab, we are going to now over here we're going to add the primary data asset object reference. Make sure this is the primary data asset of the enemy type. We're going to drag this out here, and then we're going to get the enemy type, which will be the soft class object, which is why you needed to have the load class asset before. So we're going to plug this in here. We're going to plug this in here. And then let's see, to make sure this works. Alright, so we've hooked all that up, and then to make sure that works, we're going to come here and we're going to set up our respawn fabs to, we're going to do this, expose on spawn, instance editable, and then now we should have our PDA here. We're going to set this to Arnold, this one to Butch, and this one to Sarah. Alright, so we've got this set up for the soft class object, going to the async load class asset to the cast character class, which is just empty. Spawn actors hooked up, and then we're going to set the respawn reference. So now we're going to double check, make sure this works. There we go, things have spawned in. Alright, we're going to continue. So the respawn trigger here off of our interface that we're going to do, event respawn trigger, we're going to set that to a timer by event. We're going to promote this to a variable. This is our respawn delay. You can set this to settable, and then this could be 5 seconds. You can change this to whatever you want it to. You do not need to set it to looping because this is going to trigger every time you kill an enemy. So here's what we're going to do. We have our respawn reference. We are now going to respawn trigger, and this is going to call the fab to respawn it, and then after we call that, which is going to set that timer, we're going to destroy this actor every time we do enough damage to kill it. So we're going to do kill, respawn, activate the respawn trigger, destroy the actor to clear all this out of the memory, which will then go to the fab and trigger this. For this event here off the respawn delay should re-trigger the initial spawn event, which will load this from the soft memory and continue on down the way that way. Let's check. Did not work. Alright, what did I do wrong? That's probably what I did wrong. Bam, bam, everybody's dead. And then within 5 seconds I should respawn. Bam, bam, bam. Yay! This could almost be a video game by itself. And then that's how that works. And you can adjust the respawn delay to however long you want it per enemy. Like if you want a boss, and this works great too because if you want to have say you want a shed and you want the enemy to have a walking animation when you respawn it, you can put this spawner in the shed and then have them walk out, blah 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 blah, and then feel free to expand on any of this however you see fit. And then that should be 2 immediately, 7, and then 10. There you go. Have fun with it, guys.